So I rarely do endorsement videos, but today I wanted to do a quick video explaining why I've endorsed Vivian Eason for Thurston County Commissioner, position 4, and why I'm not endorsing her opponent, Wayne Fournier. Now, I particularly care about this race because this is where I live, and I hope that my research on this local race will help you do similar research on other races where you live right now. Now, it's no secret that I have endorsed Vivian Eason for this position, and probably no surprise because I endorsed her last year in the 2022 race for Thurston County Commissioner, position number 3. Now, why is she running again this year? Well, that's a great question, and this actually goes back to the recent 2022, voter-approved expansion of the Thurston County Commission from 3 seats to 5. So that election result meant that this year, in 2023, the voters of Thurston County must elect people to fill the 2 new seats. Now, I now live in this kind of newly created position 4 seat, which you can see from this district map kind of over my shoulder, and it encompasses much of the rural southwest Thurston County area. Now, I've known Vivian for over 10 years now, and I believe that she was capable and conscientious when she worked in the county's emergency management department, and I appreciated her background working in the Thurston County Sheriff's Office long before that. She is a retired military veteran, and I believe that is basically a helpful background in Thurston County as well, because we have a large military veteran population who actually live here. I also believe the fact that she actually lives in rural Thurston County, which is, after all, the population of the county most impacted by the decisions made by the county commissioners, and I think that's actually very helpful. We're really desperate for people who actually live in the community impacted by the decisions made by the Thurston County Commission. Now, for too many years, we've actually seen the Thurston County Commission frequently led by elected officials who don't live in the area impacted by the regulations, and they often didn't care about the damage that they did to rural residents because they were kind of tied into the political grifter class of Olympia. Now, this is true with current County Commissioner Ty Mentzer, who claims that he graduated from Berkeley Law School and was most obviously exhibited by the widely ridiculed and easily forgotten disaster commission of Wolf Romero and Valenzuela. Now, I've written extensively about their failures and the bad choices that they made years ago, which really still haunt us to this day. However, we're really looking ahead forward now because there's an election coming up this fall. And even though only 2 people are in this race, they will have a primary in August just for the district, District 4, and then a final kind of countywide election in November. So this is really a binary choice for those of us living here. It's either Vivian Eason or it's Wayne Fournier. No one else is on the ballot. Now, Wayne Fournier is currently mayor of Tenino. In full disclosure here, I live outside the city limits, but I very much openly supported his original election to mayor years ago. And while I've disagreed with maybe some of his policy choices over time, I did appreciate the fact that the city shifted from being more friendly and accommodating with the Tenino Food Bank while I was a board member at the time. He actually kept this as a promise, which was beneficial to the community. However, I just don't support him becoming our next county commissioner. And here's why. First of all, Thurston County is a much larger budget and far more complicated than the city of Tenino. And this means the elected officials need to be kind of on their toes. And for those of us who actually live in Thurston County, we need elected officials who are willing to question the crazy policies of the Central Planning Department and these kind of various grant grifting schemes that basically squander our future and our taxes on just enrichment schemes for politically connected insiders. Government always wastes the money that they take from us. I mean, it's the nature of bureaucracy. But we do need elected officials who are willing to constrain the corruption and insider deals. Unfortunately, many of Wayne Fournier's supporters are kind of the worst grifters Thurston County has ever produced in modern times. Mostly from the city of Olympia, no surprise. For example, Olympia City Councilman Jim Cooper, plus Cooper's friend and business partner and convicted drug dealer felon Joe Heyer, and really others from that crew that have all unfortunately donated to Fournier's campaign. That's a huge and massive red flag for anyone who cares about honest and transparent government. Fournier's financial supporters, and not all of them, but a disturbing number, they've repeatedly pushed for vicious policies that kind of attack the rural residents of Thurston County and have almost universally supported everything from the scam of the pocket gopher to whatever green grifter scheme kind of taxes the most, takes the most of our cash, to downsizing the sheriff's department, to even having druggy homeless camps in the county. And it concerns me that this will become Fournier's agenda as well. He will certainly owe these guys if he gets elected. Now, secondly, Fournier has a well-deserved reputation as kind of a hothead and an angry person. Now, by itself, this is not a big deal in my opinion, but it does make people concerned for several reasons. And I'm not just talking about the assault charges from a few years ago. He was able to enter a diversion program to get those dropped. Those were charges against him for reportedly assaulting a woman at a bar a few years ago, but that isn't all. I'm also not talking about the nasty divorce documents, which appear to indicate his former wife's fear of his temper as well. Unfortunately, nasty divorces often result in just vicious accusations on both sides, and frankly, I hate digging through those types of records, because they're basically just so fraught with emotion, and it's kind of a he said, she said accusations. I can't tell what is real or not, and frankly, it wasn't ugly, and I feel basically sorry for both of them having gone through that. Because now this temper problem is not just about that. It's been really a common theme that's been expressed by most of those, unfortunately, who have worked with Fournier for years. And the concern I have about it is one more actually of blackmail. When you get to the county level and budgets in the 9-digit range, there is a lot more pressure and underhanded tactics that kind of unfortunately go on there. It is very conceivable that political insiders could use this type of behavior in blackmail type situations or to provoke him into some type of scandal event that they can then use for leverage. I've also spoken to former city employees who have grown concerned about insider deals and questionable contracts that imply a kind of less than honest approach to government. Unfortunately, we really don't need more of that at the county level. And that type of governance, as common as it may be today, we just don't need any more of it. And frankly, I'm also a bit concerned about the missing $270,000 from the Tenino City budget, apparently caused by some type of con. Now, this happened on Fournier's watch. It is tough when you're a mayor of a little city and you lose these relatively large sums of money like this with really no good explanation. And for how, why, and where it went, I mean, it looks bad. But it is nothing compared to the schemes and the problems that he's going to encounter, and he would encounter if he was at the county level. I've also found that Fournier, for some odd reason, just didn't bother to report his $7,200 tax lien that was owed by him to the state on his financial affairs report. And well, he probably thought that could remain a secret. It is a public record, and I filed that complaint with the Public Disclosure Commission. I don't really blame him for basically fighting over his tax bill, but he must disclose the truth about it in his financial affairs reports. And he did decide not to. Now finally, many viewers of my channel are aware of a series of videos, some of which I've linked here and I put them down below, about the violent sex predator release home scandal from just a few months ago. And this was the Governor Inslee A.G. Ferguson plan to secretly dump violent sex predators into rural homes in Thurston County. And one of these homes was actually very near Tenino. A very vocal and capable group of mostly local women rose up, organized, confronted the plan, and essentially stopped this project from happening. When Mayor Fournier was originally approached on this issue, he actually refused to help because it was outside his jurisdiction. Although eventually he did come around to support the effort to stop the violent sex predator house when it became politically easy. Now, this initial failure to recognize the obvious danger and the harm caused by such an insane public policy is always a red flag to me. And I'm glad he eventually jumped on this bandwagon, and he takes credit for this now, but this is nothing compared to the various problems he's likely to face as county commissioner. We really need more people in our county government willing to stand up for the rural residents of Thurston County. And I believe Vivian Eason's the best choice at this time and in this race, and that is why I support her on the campaign. On the current three-person commission, we really just have one county commissioner who's solidly supportive of county residents, and that's Gary Edwards. We have one who clearly despises the people who he pretends to represent, and that's Ty Menser. His people are the grifters and the political insiders of Olympia. And we have a swing vote with Carolina Mejia, who has often been willing to kind of take tough votes to help rural residents. We don't have the luxury to elect somebody who doesn't clearly come out in support of rural Thurston County. Now, I hope this video has been helpful to you. If you want to see the article that I've written on this topic, I've linked to it below. You'll find source documents there as well. Elections clearly have consequences, so let me know your thoughts on this one. I'm not sure how many videos like this one that I'll produce this year, but I hope it is helpful, and I'll basically close with kind of these 3 recommendations. Number 1, do your homework before you vote. I feel like nobody bothers to check on these politicians, and it's stunning what you find if you bother to look. Number 2, the media won't do this for you, particularly for local areas. Unless somebody wears a MAGA hat, the local media is always asleep at the switch and usually just reports what they're told to report. Number 3, finally, I just want to make it clear, elections have consequences. Some are major, some are minor, but pretending they don't matter is just lazy and ignorant. Engage early, support the best option, hold them accountable when they get there. To do this, of course, you need to show up. The grifters and the corrupt, they always show up. So we need to show up to make an impact as well, because in the end, the future belongs to those who show up.